I would like to start today's episode with a quote from Stormbringer Book 3. As they approached, Elric was soon in no doubt that they were indeed those ships. The signs of chaos flashed on their sails, 8 amber arrows radiating from a central hub, signifying the boast of chaos, that it contained all possibilities, whereas law was supposed, in time, to destroy possibility and result in eternal stagnation. The sign of law was a single arrow pointing upwards, symbolizing dynamic growth. Elric knew that in reality, chaos was the harbinger of stagnation, for though it changed constantly, it never progressed. But in his heart, he still felt a yearning for this state, for his past loyalties to the Lords of Chaos had suited him better to wild destruction than to stable progress. Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of Elric and the Young Kingdoms. Today we're jumping right into the second part of our complete breakdown of the Pantheon of Law. If you haven't watched the first episode yet, I suggest you go and check it out to get the full picture. However, if you want to jump right in, this episode completely stands on its own. We're actually switching things up a bit from our usual travel format for this one so we can focus entirely on the gods themselves. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and if you feel like I've earned it by the time we reach the end of the video, consider subscribing. With that out of the way, let's pull up a chair by the hearth and talk about the White Lords. First on our list is Arkyn, Lord of Natural Law. His domain is mathematics, engineering, scholarship, and invention. He is seen as the patron of the mind. He views the multiverse as an intricate clockwork mechanism that can be understood through numbers and geometry. His followers are architects, scholars, and inventors of the Young Kingdoms. Their core tenet is that emotional thinking is chaotic flaw, and the ultimate enlightenment is found in cold, hard reason. There is also a tenet which talks about the right study, which is understood as the primary duty in the different disciplines. Once established what you excel at, you must devote yourself completely to that field and never stray from it. When night falls upon the Young Kingdoms, he is at his weakest, as he spends his time working on his own experiments to thwart the demon lords of chaos. His holy place is anywhere study is promoted. The university here in Cassandria, despite not being a consecrated ground, can be considered such. Next is Donblas, the bringer of justice. His domain is justice, state policy, bureaucracy, and absolute order. He is the paramount deity of law in the Young Kingdoms, so often acting as a spokesman of the White Lords. He is the arbiter of right and wrong. But his version of justice is devoid of any mercy or emotion. His followers dominate the courts and governments of law-aligned nations, acting as judges, inquisitors, and politicians. His followers are also the ones that watch over cities, especially at night, when Arkyn is at his weakest. Donblas is considered to be the watcher of the night. When the moon is new and fully dark, his strength is at its lowest, and chaos is at their strongest. The holy place of Donblas is the Watchtower Temple in Lormir. Other cities have similar smaller versions of that particular temple. The Lord of Harmony, Elgis the Gentle, is considered the major Lord of Law in Argimilar and teaches its followers that law is better than any other way of life and seeks to raise those who have fallen away from the righteous path and help his followers be happier and more productive. Unlike the other Lords of Law who rule over specific areas of influence, he rules over general ideas that act as a founding bedrock of law. His followers prefer pacifism, preferring to solve conflicts through intellectual, spiritual, and moral purity rather than brute force, which aligns perfectly with the Argimilar people known for their politeness. His holiest place is in Clant, where Earl Albec was born. The Lord of Commerce, Goldar, the patron deity of the Isle of the Purple Towns. His teachings are considered highly controversial, often called heresy by older conservative nations such as Vilmir. He teaches that the man's worth is not determined by his birth caste, but by his shrewdness and ability to accumulate personal wealth. His religion is effectively capitalism masquerading as divine law, perfectly suited for the mercantile nation of the Purple Towns, where his followers reside. The previous mentioned in an episode Pyramid of Goldar is his holiest place and is said to be one of the most expensive temples ever built in honor of a Lord of Law. Lady of Time and Death. Mirath represents boundaries, limitations, and the end of all things. She teaches that all paths end at the gate of her kingdom, and no bargaining or power can change that. There is no swaying her with pleas, tears, libations, or sacrifices. Her followers oversee rites of passage and funerals at highly specific times, as any deviations from those are seen as a great offense. The priests of Mirath also oversee births, and there are specific rituals called glorious manhood performed at the ages of 3, 6, and 9 for all boys. There is also a counterpart ritual called glorious motherhood, performed at the ages of 12 for all girls. The holy place for the followers are cemeteries, usually with a chapel attachment. The next god of law can be seen as unlawful compared to the rest of the White Lords. Salik, the Potent, the Lord of Fertility, is a short-tempered god who deals in extremes and possesses a zest for life that is unparalleled within the church. There is a duality in the followers. The first form is the agrarian provider. Those priests tend to crops, domesticated animals. They oversee animal husbandry, brewing. They actually have a belief that distilling grain into beer and spirits is a holy process mirroring the distillation of souls. In his other aspect, Salik watches the boundaries between young kingdoms and chaos. Dark-robed priests acting as harbingers of catastrophic societal change. They root out corruption and establish regimes, engaging in alchemy with the intent to poison any corrupt officials. In this aspect, he is the urge to transform, eliminate, and redeem. His place of worship is the Temple of the White Bull in Felkar. That is just outside of Rasho, and there is a type of a sacred brothel that is ran. Pilgrims pay for time with prostitutes to receive the god's potency, and those said prostitutes anoint his statue, and more specifically the phallus, with spring water. Nations such as Vilmir, where things such as alcohol is banned, have a particular type of problem with his worship. Theril, the Guide. The Lady of Inspiration is the goddess of knowledge and learning. She represents insight and discovery, patron of all artists and inventors. She expects to be the only love her followers pursue. Any deviations from their devotion results in a rebuke and a cosmic breakup on a godly scale. Her greatest temple was once located here in Cassandria. However, it has been razed to the ground following the conversion to chaos. Her followers are tasked with seeking inspiration in all things, inspiring the uninspired. Beds, spas, and hot springs are considered sacred for her followers. The Lord of Violence. Tovik the Relentless, also known as He Who Never Retreats and He Who Marches Before Armies. The ultimate risk-taker, and a stern god who represents genocide made human, reveling in the ugly side of human aggression. A stark contrast to the likes of Elgis, Tovik seeks to expand through subjugation and seeks perfection through the deaths of those who do not believe. His followers are among the many men in the armies of the Young Kingdom who built many small shrines and amulets in his honor. A myth says that 5,000 years ago, Tovik wrestled the Duke of Chaos, Mabelode. Tovik was victorious, throwing Mabelode down with such a force that ruptured the earth, allowing the ocean to flood in and create the Bay of Dakos in Jarkar. To initiate into Cardino in Jarkar, one must swim through the temple holding a sword in one hand and a scabbard in the other, after which they're expected to fight to death in the temple forecourt to determine who gets the title. The last god of the Pantheon of Law is Vallyn the Wise, the Lord of Achievement. She is a goddess of knowledge, learning, teaching, and study, as well as one that would watch over travelers such as us. She gave humanity 3 vital gifts: spoken words to communicate law, the written record to record thoughts for posterity, and curiosity to learn the secrets of the divinely ordered universe. The gift of writing literally spelled the doom of chaos. By encoding knowledge and fixing its meaning by placing language in a type of cell, Vallyn struck a massive blow against chaos, whose worshippers view ideas as flexible concepts subject to change. Her followers are tasked with obtaining and sharing knowledge. They cannot hide any knowledge unless it possesses a danger. This creates a paradox: the ability to communicate and the ability to keep dangerous ideas such as chaos magic in the dark. Her priesthood chooses what information is fit for the public, as they hold tremendous political power within the Young Kingdoms. Her temple is an immense library in Argimalar, located a couple days' travel from where we are. And that brings our late night in the tavern to a close. Walking across the Pantheon, it is clear why the Church of Law is such a strange conflicting beast. And it isn't just a monolithic wall of cold logic, it is tense and a very delicate web woven between blood-soaked crusaders of Tovik, dark death-bound duty of Mirath, and the paradox of Vallyn. And that is the Pantheon that is known as the Unchanging Nine. Outside, the rain has stopped, and the hearth is burning low. Cassandra is waiting for us tomorrow. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and comment. And as always, make sure you subscribe to explore the rest of Moorcock's world with me, and be aware the journey will be long and perilous, and I'll be glad to have you with me.